It is. It is time for the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, your DJ, Cowboy Rivers. And I am so happy to be back once again. Glad to be back for another night of the week. I cannot get enough of this show, I must say. It's just invigorating. I cannot get enough. I love being here on KCOU 88.1. You are listening to the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. Plays every Saturday, 2 to 3 a.m. because we like that money hour, and we know that the people we want to entertain are up at this time. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And when I say entertain, I mean we got some entertainment. We got some good music. We got some good topics to talk about. I am very excited to be here. Let's just say that. Now, before we get started with the music, I'll just address a little something that happened today, at least in Columbia, Missouri, where KCOU is being broadcast out of. And that would be, for the first time in quite some time, there was, in fact, rain today. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we saw for a fact that God did not forget how to cry, because for the first time in what felt like months, there was rain in Columbia. And man, oh man, it was not too bad. It was kind of nice, at least for a couple of seconds. And then I realized I didn't have an umbrella, so that was a little unfortunate. But like the tears of a film critic, it only lasted for a few hours, so we don't have to worry about it too long. The rain's gone again. It was nice to have it for a little bit, but we're remembering why it's not here. Coming up, we're going to listen to some Kanye, get the night started off, and then we'll keep on cruising for a bruising, as my old pa used to say. This is the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort on KCOU 88.1.
In the night, I hear him talk, the coldest story ever told.
All right. That was The Erotic Book by Mr. Twin Sister. I don't know about you, but I thought that song wasn't half bad, if I do say so myself. Now, you're listening to KCOU 88.1, and it is the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. I'm your host, Cowboy Rivers. Now, here on the Hour of Effort, since this show is still a little new, I figured I'd kind of try to familiarize just some of the things that we enjoy talking about on the Hour of Effort. So one of those things is that I am actually a health guru, and I enjoy dispersing knowledge to various people, just what I've learned over the years. So here's some, let's go over some health tips with Dr. Rivers, if I do say so myself. Now, this week we're going to talk about stress. Stress is something very, very important. It's something that affects us all in a way, and if it doesn't affect you, well, then you're not living. That's all I got to say. But it really plagues us the way that pirates were plagued with scurvy, and there's just not enough oranges and lemons to cure us from it. But let me tell you, I can give you at least a little bit. I can give you a taste of some citrus to get rid of that scurvy. My best piece of advice for dealing with stress, find a find a comforting constant that you can always rely on. Now, this can be many things. A relaxing book, for example, such as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Maybe a song like Jungle Fever. A movie even, like Warren Beatty's 1981 film Reds, my mistake. Or even just a weekly radio show even that might be on at Saturdays 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Number two tip for dealing with stress is try to make a schedule for each and every day and try to live by it as best as you can. That way you'll just get used to kind of the things that pop up, and you'll be able to expect when your life is going to become a little bit more stressful. Personally, I'll tell you my schedule so that maybe you can get your own inspiration for how to deal with the stress that's in your life. Now, before even getting out of bed, I wake up and I watch Warren Beatty's 1981 film Reds, and it is 195 minutes long. It's an epic on the Bolshevik Revolution, and focuses on its main character, journalist Jack Reed, and I watch that every day before getting up and out of bed. So I usually have to wake up about 3 hours or so before actually getting into the routine of getting dressed, eating food, going to classes, doing all that stuff. But since it is a long movie, I do skip the credits personally. So, I go through my day, like I said, go to classes, eat food, get dressed, yada yada. And when I get home, my home life, I get to unwind and rewind a little bit. And, it's just a nice way to kind of relax. But before bed, I actually watch the credits to the 1981 Warren Beatty film Reds. And I'm usually in bed by 8:30 just because I have to wake up early the next day so I can watch the 1981 Warren Beatty film Reds. Now, my final tip for kind of dealing with stress in general is you might be able to guess it. It's kind of a reoccurring theme with my other two tips. But basically, the point I'm trying to get across is watch Warren Beatty's epic film Dick Tracy. With these tips, you'll be able to watch Warren Beatty films, and then let's just say you'll Warren Beatty the shit out of stress. Am I right? You are listening to the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort on KCOU 88.1, and with Halloween coming up this week, I figured we'd try to step into some spookier territory, maybe play a scary song or two, but maybe just one, because I get scared easily. I don't know about you, but we're going to try some stuff out with a very terrifying song. You might know it. You might love it. It is Spooky Scary Skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shit.
All right. That was a Creeper Weed by Potty Mouth. Oh, man. Them and I should hang out sometime. We have a lot in common. Like we get creeped out by weed. Anyway, you're listening to the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort on KCOU 88.1. I'm your host, Cowboy Rivers, and this is KCOU for me and you. Now, like I said a little bit earlier, obviously Halloween is coming up. So instead of being scary like I was with that last round, I figured I'd talk about the actual day of Halloween and all the parties and festivities that go with it. Now, what do you get for a Halloween costume? That is a very popular question, and the answer, or what you decide, may affect the rest of your year until the next Halloween. That is, you want to have a good reputation. You want to have a good, memorable costume, so people will be like, whoa. How about that? Now, I'm going to just talk about some of the most popular costumes I've found in my research here at the Cowboy Rivers Lab of Discussion. And so far, what I've found is that superheroes are definitely the number one most popular costume. You know, superheroes like Batman, Spider-Man, Matt Damon. And after that, a very popular costume is the category of princesses. Princesses such as Princess Jasmine, Ariel the Little Mermaid. I believe she was Princess of Atlantis or that underwater city or whatever. Princess Joan of Arc. Just a lot of memorable Disney movie princesses. I think it's just really popular just because of the nostalgia, if anything. Everyone wants to remember good old Joan and her arc. Following the princesses is a new entry. The entire cast of Frozen is actually a very popular category for costumes. Yeah, the 2010 film Frozen, where three friends get stranded on a ski lift for an entire weekend and slowly die of exposure. Yeah, not that Disney one. We're not about that bullshit here at KCOU. We're about real horror movies. After all, it is Halloween. And what better costume than an ice zombie? Even though they don't really come back from the dead in that movie, they just sort of just die. You could also be a classic horror monster, such as a vampire. Be a vampire really just every year. Be a vampire one year, be a vampire the next year, on and on and on. It's a pretty good safety net almost, really, because people will just be like, oh, it's a vampire again. But people can't complain that much. After all, vampires are supposed to be spooky. You could also be a banana, but I think that's a little overdone, at least throughout the rest of the non-Halloween season. People just run around in banana suits. And as much as I would love to have one, I would not want to wear one on Halloween. That is just the epitome of unoriginality, if you ask me. You could also put a plastic bag over your head and go as a dying toddler. That's a big hit. Wrap yourself in toilet paper. Go as a piece of shit. That's another one that's pretty popular. If you get an obnoxiously big costume, such as being a pair of dice or a Rubik's Cube, really just putting a box over yourself, sticking a hole in the head, and something that's just so big it can't really fit through the door, that's good, because that costume keeps you from actually going inside of the parties that people aren't going to want you there, since your costume is so annoying and obnoxious. And that's really all I got for the Halloween costume advice. Most importantly, you just want to have fun with your costume and really just with the entire holiday. It's just a great day. Just a fun celebration that really gets you going. Like I said, this is the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort. We're going to continue on with a couple more songs, and you are listening to 88.1 on KCOU. KCOU, the dreamscape of Rick Perry on an acid trip. All right. That was That Ring by Gospel Machine. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been great tonight. This has been the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort on KCOU 88.1. I have 3:03 on my clock here in the station, and that means our time has to come to a close. Yes, it's unfortunate, but like all good things, they must end so they can be born again a week later. Although I must admit, I do have some thrills for this Halloween show that I've been having. This is something really scary, so bear with me, but unfortunately, the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort will not be on next week. It will be on the week following, which will be November 6th, I believe, but it will not be playing in a week. Unfortunately, I will be out of town celebrating the old tradition of Ralloween, baby, Ralloween. So don't tune in next week, but the week after, feel free to tune in. After all, next week you should all be busy having fun with your own Halloween parties. It's just a splendid time of year when you get to dress up and act like you're not yourself. Forget your responsibilities, walk in someone else's shoes. Feel like you don't have the burden of you on your shoulders. Now, this has been a really great show, guys, but I want to take a minute to kind of slow down before signing off, and I do have some bad news, and this is some genuinely bad news. Now, I want to just give a sort of spiritual shout-out to a man who passed away this Wednesday. His name is Ron Kruger. He was the third-generation CEO of Warenberg Theaters, housed in St. Louis, and I met him once, and from what I can tell, he was a pretty great guy. He died at the age of 75, I believe, and although it's sad, I must say he has lived a life well done, it seems like. Warenberg Theaters are the pinnacle of cinema, if you ask me, and I don't even like the movie theater that much. But I will miss him, even though I only got to meet him once. He seemed like a really genuinely jovial guy. So I want to dedicate this last song to him. Just hopefully he'll be able to hear it somewhere, and I think it's a pretty nice way to sign off on this hour of effort we've been having tonight. This has been the Cowboy Rivers Hour of Effort on KCOU 88.1, and I am your host, Cowboy Rivers, and I'm signing off with Across the Universe by the Beatles. Have a good one, folks. Happy Halloween. Here's to you, Ron.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither wildly as they slip away across the universe.